Well, hey, Mike, thanks so much for giving me the opportunity to interview you. I, as a creative artist myself, I'm always interested in creative process and how other people do it. And I always like to start with just asking, what got you into doing the work that you do today, and why is it important to you?
Well, about 15 years ago, I decided that I wanted to become the contractor that I'd always wanted. And, there's a lot of contractors out there. And, whether we like it or not, sometimes we get a bad rap. And so I decided, if I stepped up and actually became the reliable, dependable, time specific, budget conscious contractor that I'd always wanted for myself and for my family, for my house, or for my business, then I could probably be pretty successful at that. So
Yeah.
I started up a company.
So, what kind of work do you help people with?
Mostly commercial. I have a background in residential, and I kind of dabble in that a little bit, but commercial is where my passion is. I
Yeah.
really like to, dentist office, doctor's offices, but mostly retail and restaurant.
Okay, so it's like maybe supporting a lot of small businesses.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. Well, I know every time I have to hire a contractor, this gets kind of scary for me because as I just haven't had an orientation of how to build things, or how to look at something from the ground up, or what all the legal or requirements of the city or permits are, and so that all gets real scary for me. And so when you're working with somebody, like sometimes I've gotten bids and I kind of scratch my head and go,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is the right person.
It's a lot of information.
Right?
Yeah.
Or I'm not sure if they really know what they're doing. I mean, how do I know how to select the right contractor for myself and be confident that I've got somebody who's professional and they've got all that covered for me so I don't get into a big mess?
Well, you touched on a lot of different things, but one of the things that I would say is you have to be comfortable with that person. So a face-to-face meeting to discuss kind of, your concept is really important. And let me tell you why. Because this is your vision, this is your dream, you've been thinking about it for days, weeks, even years possibly. So you need to meet with that contractor and try as best you can in that first meeting to give them kind of a vision. So they understand what it is that you're wanting to see in that completed project. And through that conversation, the questions that contractor will ask and everything, you're going to get a comfort level. At that time, you can also ask about their experience and what other jobs like theirs. If you're doing a bubble tea place or a restaurant or whatever, what other restaurants, what other tea places, what other dental offices, what other nail salons, whatever have you ever built out? Can I go look at those? Can I talk to the people that you did the build out with and ask them how it was to work with you? And that way, that's just reassurance. It's just added insurance, if you will, in terms of, the best indication of of somebody's future is their past.
Mm-hmm.
So if they've done well in the past and they're still friends and have a strong relationship, even get callbacks to do occasional work on those jobs, that's a big tell. If that person, and I do that, if I'm able to walk in, and I can, to every job that I've ever done and meet those people, send my wife and my daughter or whatever to the nail salon that I've completed and walk in and say hi to the people, that's important. And a lot of contractors can't do that, but I can.
Yeah. No, I love that. And for me, it's also a lot of decision making, right? For the owner, like you said, this is something that's an idea that they're bringing to life. And from like, what's my logos and what's my themes and what colors am I going to have and what kind of, depending on the business, what kind of furniture, or what, all of the carpet, the wallpaper, everything that might go into those decisions. What do you think are some key success factors to help an owner get prepared to go through such a big project like that?
There are a lot of things to consider. Obviously, we've all heard it before about location, location, location. Do your due diligence, look around, see what else is in the area, and hopefully you've thought that out. I like to be brought in at the time that the location is already selected. And then my job is, on the consultation side of it, is to kind of discuss the space that's already been decided upon and how your vision can best be built out in that space. There are a lot of things to look for, a lot of things that people overlook, and that's why an experienced contractor can point things out. I'll give you an example. You may have a drawing, have a vision for how you want your kitchen, and I'm going to walk in and go, well, you can't put your vent hood there because there's an air conditioning unit sitting on the roof right above there. And people don't think about that. It's like they don't think about where their sewer is. They don't think about where the electrical is. Is there even adequate electrical power for this space? So there's a lot of things to consider there. And I like to be brought in early on to kind of walk you through the entire concept to all the way through the completion.
Yeah, so as you're talking, that kind of reminds me that, sometimes we do have a real clear picture of what we want, but then sometimes you run into challenges like you just described.
Yeah.
And so having someone to guide you so that you do have to make a modification to your idea, that stays within the codes or, makes it practical to be able to do what you're wanting